What a joy to welcome a phenomenal poet, India Lena Gonzalez, my friend. Um, just a great artist, a great human being, a great dancer. So hopefully later today she's going to show you some of those moves if you come to the workshop. That's my way of inviting you. In the description of the book, it says, take the body and split it wide open. Fill it with light. See the multiple interiors, the layered death, the familial mythology, the throb and splendor of being, the shedding of the body all together. This is Fox Woman. Get out. I hope I got that exclamation right. I think it is one of those books I've seen, one of the book titles that has an exclamation. Harrisonburg, one of the nation's, actually one of the world's leading poet and a professor of poetry at Stanford University, who picked this book and wrote the foreword, said, "We've been invited to read. We've been invited to carry in the arms of our own times this poet's formidable fight to protect our own vastness." And so here is this book, this physical, spatial experience through which we readers might move, surrounded by material and memory. Poems which read as portraits filled with multiple exposures. Accepting this invitation to read, we arrive with our own intricate possibilities and relationships. And in this way, perhaps we help India Lena to further disperse the energies of our many lives into the atmospheres that we ourselves move through and are. Terence Hayes, our great teacher, said of India Lena Gonzalez's book, is that this book is made of exhilarating body language, as serpentine stanzas, upper and lowercase characters, and body exclamations move like B.T. Jones, the dancer, like Avon Haley dancing to lines of June Jordan, like the woman warrior dancing with Sister Outsider. Joan Didion once said, style is character. Gonzalez's virtuosic style reveals not only depth of character, it reveals depth of spirit. Just a few biographical notes. India Lena Gonzalez is a poet, editor, and artist. She graduated magna cum laude from Columbia University and received her MFA from NYU Creative Writing Program, where she served as a writing instructor for undergraduates and received a Writer in the Public Schools Fellowship, enabling her to teach literature to middle school students via Teachers and Writers Collaborative. Our work has been published in American Codata, the Brooklyn Review, Lamp Black, Pank, Pigeon Pages, and Poet and Writers magazine. A three-time National Poetry Series finalist, India is also a professionally trained dancer, choreographer, and actor. Fox Women Get Out is a debut poetry collection. She lives in Harlem. She was the features editor and now the senior editor of Poets and Writers. Please make welcome my dear friend, India Lena Gonzalez.
Hi, everyone. You all are so quiet. So we're going to do a little bit of call and response, yeah? Because I want you to be in the room with me. Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
All right, yeah. My name is India. I'm so happy to be here. I love Furious Flower and all the work that you all do, and it's such an honor for me. When I got the invitation, full disclosure, I cried, because I know the importance of this and the legacy for our people means so much to me. I wrote down what you all do based off your website because I wanted to get the language right. But Furious Flower is committed to ensuring the visibility, inclusion, and critical consideration of Black poets. That's a huge deal. We don't get that very often. And I also just want to say thank you because being multiracial, the idea of inclusion isn't always a given for someone like me in my communities. So I want to say thank you for seeing people like me and acknowledging that we are a part of the Black community as well, and happily so. So yeah. Thank you to Lauren, Benga, Tara, Jasmine. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I'm going to read some poems from this book today, and then I'm also going to share some new work with you all. So hopefully you'll be very welcoming about that, yeah, because this is part of a second manuscript that I'm working on. One thing I wanted to know before I start, so Gwendolyn Brooks, we love Gwendolyn Brooks, right? Yeah. They can't hear me?
Okay, that's fine. Let's try this.
Should I keep talking and just test into the mic so that they can? Yeah. Test.
Sorry.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What's a good song? Yeah.
Ask them if they can hear now.
Yeah, can you all hear me now online? How are we doing? The weather's really nice outside, and the flowers are starting to be in bloom. That's cool. You guys have a really great campus, by the way.
Some thumbs up, so
You're getting some thumbs up? Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm going to stop that. Great, a little detour. So yeah, Gwendolyn Brooks. Just wanted to invoke her here today because my book is a part of the Blessing the Boat selection series for BOA, and that was started with Gwendolyn Brooks in mind. And so Blessing the Boats comes from her poem. Furious Flower comes from another poem of hers. So I feel doubly blessed in that way today. So, Fox Women Get Out. I'm just going to get into it, and then over time I'll sort of start to explain what this book is about. Yeah? And also, sorry, it's just so random, but I heard you said your name was Asia, and I just wanted to acknowledge, hi, because I'm India, and I grew up in Asia, and I also grew up in Africa, too, so a lot of fun tectonic plate science stuff that they made us do in class together. Cool. All right. First poem that I'm going to read, it's the second one in the collection. I think it's a great way to just start it off and kind of introduce what I'm about and what I do. Una parda, which is me. Parda, feminine. A general term used in the Spanish and Portuguese colonies of the Americas that referred to the mixed bloods, whose ancestry could almost never be accurately described. For our purposes here, it is being used in reference to the multiracial descendants of Africans, natives, and Europeans. I am a perpetual pardon. I limp into the room and you say, "Fox woman, get out." Smudge it and start again. I am naked and without clothing. I am the roasted house slave. I am the white man's leftovers. I am the white woman's hate. I am the highfalutin rape. Smudge it and start again. I get seasick now that I'm older. The colonial in me is wearing away, but I still have that candle in the eye called bloodlust. Those kleptomaniac grabbers, it must have felt good wearing all that gold. I am a broke-down ship. La Niña. Smudge it and start again. Nobody is a purebred anymore. I'm precocious mutt. I know all about the small living quarters for tender-tribed people like me, the people with too many ancestors inside of us. We have now painted our living room. We chose the color of bloodied-up hide. He chose us. In the end, I screech during childbirth. My husband takes off down the hall like meaty antelope man. My skin is slick with sweat. I'm telling you, it feels good to be this naked. Forgive me, you who are so fully clothed. Alrighty. Thank you. So yeah, a huge thread in this book is this idea of performance, whether it be dance or acting, but just the acknowledgement that we perform our selfhood consistently every day. And within that, this book plays around a lot with this idea of the authenticity of performance and also the idea of concealing yourself in performance or potentially lying in performance. So I like to play around with, when am I being honest with the reader? When am I not? When do you think I'm being honest? When do I know I'm being honest? And what is authenticity in terms of utilizing your voice or your body to tell a story? Yeah? So this is one about acting. Act. Pose with fingers as though cigarette. Puff, puff. Once more, onto the breach once more. Mama has a bad habit of snickering every time I say the word theater. Thee ate her. Jimmy assigns me marriage to James. James goes belly up trying to love me. I stare at him deadly. Jimmy believes this is quite sensual of us. We never even touched. I am told to perform the role of Erykah Badu head wrap in the creation of incense. Opening shot and my hips are too small. The little black girl inside me dies a little. Oh, mama. The next class, they tell me I have tuberculosis, so die already. I ask them politely to supply the gunshot. Next class, they tell me I'm wild-haired virgin in the Bronx who offers myself up to first ding-a-ling to call me savage in limbo. Other schoolgirls are such clementines. Stella! Juliet with the sky of flesh-cut stars. I am Clove with post-apocalyptic limp. Clove who is black dust. Clove nursing his teeny tiny light. Clove trying to make an exit in Jungle Hat, but God bless us, there's simply nowhere left. I scrape baby hairs back, pencil in faux mustache for devoted effect. Twin tells me I'm not busty enough to be an opera singer, a good one, at least. Insert high note. I let James fling me down on tables during rehearsal. Classmates really love this concussion of mine, and this sty in my eye is a testament of nostalgia. Dr. E believes such swelling is a sign of severe loneliness. Twin reminds me that women with a light dusting of acne have always been her favorite. Director asks if I've ever felt like a let you down. And sure, Jimmy, sure I have. Haven't we all? On stage, I'm trying to simulate some internal pink, some veiny placenta truth. I'm left thinking of baby tigers at the National Zoo. How pale and soft their tongues are. And do these stripes on display also cry? I've never seen it. Yeah, so I grew up in Washington, D.C., so hence the reference to the National Zoo. And I'm also a twin in real life, so that's not a lie. So yes, I've had some readers that are like, so clearly you're not a twin, and I hate that you did that. And I was like, no. I love my twin very much. She's real. And a wonderful character also throughout the book. So something that I do is that I bring my whole family and my ancestors with me in this book. So when I write, I don't just come from me. I don't stand here alone at this podium. And so it brings me a lot of joy to share my family with people and to acknowledge all the different voices that are within me and not to limit them, and that the fact that they will sound very, very different depending on who I'm talking about or how I feel that day. And we're allowed that as writers. Just have to say that. You don't have to write from one voice all the time and be consistent. I think inconsistency is authenticity. And so that's what this book is about. And for a long time, I didn't think it was going to get published because of that. But I'm glad I stood behind that. So here's one for my mommy. Mommy, a chest for healing. My head on your chest. When I fall asleep is when you fall asleep. I'm mumbling for the both of us. Mommy, tell me again how Big Mother is a cast iron pan with all that chitlin grease. How the cute boys down south, with their God-fearing mothers sucking on hard candies, used to call you high yellow. They spotted the Indian in you. Tell me how Big Mother would sink a rag in hot turpentine oil and pin it to your chest for healing. How her body was an hourglass with many tired years left. How she told you to be particular and never let a boy play in your hair. How tender-headed you always were. I know you as my black hair sky. Remember how her daddy held you up to the light bulb? How he said you were born with a veil over your eyes? He saw you staring straight into the spirit world. There's this dream I have where Big Mother's in the yard out back teaching me about the wind. And I can't hear the tone of her voice, so I reach up for the zipper on her cotton housecoat, but she's really you. Her face, your face. Her sturdy legs, your somewhat skinnier legs. I do not feel Big Mother sitting at the foot of my bed with all our other ancestors. So forgive me as I go looking in all the earthly places. You got that divine prerogative. I'm stuck at planet level. I know you as my worn-out saint. Tell me how she came to you in all your many visions afterwards. How Big Mother looked at you right before she passed. How her eyes crossed at the highest point on the ceiling. She saw something up there and finally caught it. Thank you. And then this one is for my abuelo. Very different tone. Santiago Cejas Fernández Pérez Dar Alcántara. Abuelo, I think I am you. I think I am always combed back in slight North African features. I am also a fine-tuned alcoholic who cannot endure the gold-toothed hag that is America. I munch on paper just to get my words right. I believe myself to be a hellified woodcarver from time to time, to fillet a friend over vino tinto y pulpo al ajillo from chest to stomach and back again. We have a bad habit of noticing when a photo is hung just off-center, of landing in jail for a night with our son, and because I am you, I often walk into rooms and say something trivial like, "It's got good bones." I tell you this is you. Because when we were dying from throat cancer, we pulled out our own too. We made sure there was an audience, and in that chair in the dining room, blood flowed from the hole in our throat, stopping up our spirit. I was there, slow clapping us to death, whistling in the back, saying, "Carajo, man, we really did it. It's a wonderful party we've thrown." Never mind Papi, Theo, Tomas the rabbit, Abuela who died of an aneurysm on the sidewalk shortly after. Abuelo, how did we leave Papi in Galicia counting seashells for so long? He was nothing but frantic limbs and no words to tell us how it hurt by the time he arrived in America. Did we call him in those farewell months just to hear his sticky little voice? How much English did we pick up off the floor? Or would you understand this poem if I handed it to you in the afterworld? I ask because I do not know all the details of our story the way I should. Papi thinks you're some brandy-swigging, knife-wearing, well-meaning god. Sometimes Santiago's really are that grand. I am fastened to Papi now, born again as a woman, so I must take care of him. Papi points emphatically to a photo of me when my face was much smaller and scrunched up, a rascally grin for the flash. That's who you are, this. You let him have it. I mean, you rip him to shreds. That's you. I think he's on to us. I think he knows. Okay, cool. I love like the delayed clap where it's like 5 seconds of silence so you're deciding, do I want to do it? Yeah, it's great. Does anyone here know Arthur Mitchell? Okay, love it. Great, we're going to have a history moment. So Arthur Mitchell was the first African-American principal dancer for New York City Ballet. Huge deal. And he founded Dance Theater Harlem. And so I grew up doing ballet. I still dance professionally today. No longer ballet, but still dance. And I trained with Dance Theater Harlem in Alvin Ailey growing up. It was a huge part of my understanding of dance was through that. And Arthur Mitchell trained me and my sister directly. And he taught me a lot about the world and what it means to be a Black woman in the world, on stage specifically, performing. And he passed away when I was getting my MFA. And so I wondered, what would my version of a eulogy be for a man who gave me so much? And when you're young, because I knew him when I was really young, 6 onward into adolescence, you don't really know who you're in the room with. You just know that he scares you because he's really intense. And then you get older and you're like, oh, wow, yeah, I was a part of something, and that's very special. So this is my version of a eulogy. It was not very sad, but maybe. So yeah. I too want to eat the world. There are few men with an appetite for all of the earth. Its blueness. Men who can then teach young girls how to expand their jaws for such consumption of blue. How to use their incisors to cut such roundness, all of the black is blue. Arthur Mitchell died today. These days one must say the thing twice. My Mr. Mitchell is dead. See, the whole world, they want to watch you and clap only once you've performed your corpse. But I want to be shot out of a cannon. I want to lunge at you. I want to grow 5 faces and tell you to kiss them. Because truly my time on stage has been violent. I've given you the soles of my feet and my inner thighs. I gave to you. I gave of me to you, all of me to you. The world needs a strict Black man, but the audience these days, the whole world, Lord have mercy, is so white. There's no real winning here. You see, I know the ground, the 6 feet knocked 9 feet under with grief, how to work with it, how to push off and become a whole solar system, myself. The world needs a strict black man to hold its hand, to hit its leg into the beat, to put you on your leg to endure the turning, and in fifth position you only have one leg. So if that leg fails you, well, that leg better not fail you. From Mr. Mitchell, I inherited at a very young age the knowledge of perfection. From Mr. Mitchell, I understood how to make my body an arrow to be shot out into the audience at just the right time. We need a strict black man to come out like lightning, to kill us with elegance, with the way he holds his back and arms. He's nursing Pluto. We need a strict black man to stare straight at us and continue staring straight at us until we've done the thing right. Don't cry. There's no point to all that. I am a very small black woman. So small, in fact, my color has faded, causing me to be a very shy child. But when that man held my hand, I hurled myself on stage like a devil baby. I stared straight out with my arms so wide, and I died. I died. I died. Cool. So, Foxwoman Get Out, what is it, right? Like, what is that title? I guess I should kind of explain it a little bit. Foxwoman was a figure that I thought I came up with, and then I did research, and I was like, yeah, no, she's a mythological figure for sure. In indigenous and Japanese mythology, she shows up. But for me, it was really this idea of flirting with going in and out of the natural world and then so-called civilization, and not adhering to the rules of society, but allowing myself to be untamable in many ways. And within that is also the performance of what does it mean to be a woman or a lady, and how do you move around that? How do you fall into it knowingly to prove a point about how messed up certain things are in our society and what we're allowed when you say, oh, I'm a woman. So for me, Foxwoman was a persona in a way to acknowledge that I'm going to slip in and out of things, slip in and out of different bodies, out of different characters, and that felt right to me. That felt good. I couldn't just be a fox, even though I love fox so much. Couldn't just be a woman, so I wanted to be both. And then the get out, I think, is pretty obvious, but the feeling of not being invited in the room because people don't really want you to be all of yourself. We don't live in that world. We're not given that luxury. So when you do say, no, I'm going to be absolutely untamable and something that you cannot rule over, they don't want you in the room. So I wanted to acknowledge that. I wanted to acknowledge that I live in a world where people don't want the fox woman. They don't want someone like that. And I also want to take up all the space and fill all of myself up entirely, so that all my ancestors' voices can speak through me in every single way without cutting anything off or selling myself short to make other people comfortable. So that's kind of the title. And the exclamation point's there because how could you not have the exclamation point? So yeah, Foxwoman doesn't really show up in the book as much as people might think, which is also my idea of like playing around with expectation. Just because she's in the title doesn't mean you have to get all the poems. And you know, the whole thing about foxes is that they're notorious for not being caught, right? So you can never really see her. She's there, but she's not there. I just see like my tail as I'm leaving, but I'm never like head on for the reader. And then sometimes I am, right? There's that nakedness. So here's one of like the big poems where Foxwoman comes into play, and I get to inhabit her in a really wonderful way. I think. I don't know. You told me. Yeah. Foxwoman strikes back. It is true. My power lies at dusk in dawn, between times, when spirit and world intersect, when bright and shade bend their backs. It is true. I live at border, edge of forest, watching the humans. The men have gone hunting. They have mistaken me for prey, for wife. They have aimed their fine arrows in my direction, sharp flint teeth they've become. Thought me fox only, shot, found a dead bush. Not this woman. I am building, shaping a new world, creating the beginning again, but first death. First the old must go out. The men have gone hunting. They have aimed their weapons, all lined up. I have beguiled them, leaping in front of their man-made temper, chasing my own tail, turned it into flame to offer them fire, the fools. Rolling, frisking, curtsying, I drew closer, closer. I laughed with pointed muzzle, bounding and twisting. I barked. I waited, tiptoed like sweeping. I created a circle, waited, never falling out of breath, waited until they thought I was just the performer, some silly woman, the vixen, with my ugly little fangs, the ravaged flesh called inner cheek. I waited until I didn't. Unless the men can understand the divinity of femininity inherent in themselves and others, they will suffer the fractured pregnancy, the never giving birth, still, the carrying of all that weight, their blood, a specific juice. I heard your spirit during La Noche Oscura, and I came to wrap you in my infinite tale, to give you warmth. Your spirit settled down just then, sank back into your body. You'll want to know how to speak with me. You'll want to remember I did not leave you scorched like the others. To contract, deep pelvic muscles, spine growing long, this the vertical ribs, this the sweat I slink on woman, always the subtle mother. Just as you've been watching me, I've been watching you, and waiting, always waiting. A mother gives birth standing upright, and when baby drops out in its bubblegum pouch, mother starts off the booting with back leg. Bubblegum pouch glides, and mother keeps looking back between kicks in a pool of her own blood slip. This looks like agony, beautiful, originating from Brute, the bastard. It bursts, opens its small, small mouth for panting. Mother keeps on pushing baby to stand. Baby starts peg-legged walking. Mother is never done. Intimacy is just violence with a new name. The semi-suicidal performance of worldly love. If you don't name it, it doesn't exist. You can't perform it. So I don't say worldly love. I don't say it. For what is a foxwoman to love exactly? What in this material world do I really love? The notion of warmth? And is that love, that deep fire we tend to religiously in our stomachs? How shall that love deliver us past the precipice of death? How do you take it with you if you only worship the form? What shall I think I know well enough to call its name? Academia, another sort of privileged death. Why shall I macerate the words to create a false start in such cheap fashion? I shall make a world in silence, and the new ones shall not speak. They shall not say, and everything will remain one mammoth, unspoken prayer. And they will know, in their silence they will know me for who I am. My soft, wet, pulpy masses, how to birth the formless into form and why. The placenta never came, so love can take more forms, more containers to fill, so many plastic containers. So I kept on pushing lightning. Mother is never done, mother is never done, mother is never done. I am telling you, I have given birth to myself, held myself close underneath the covers of indigo sky, and that too is Shakti, that too will kill you. Nana was the first fox I knew before I knew myself as fox. Nana was a woman set on fire, a mighty sequoia tree. She was always growing up and up and up and up and up and out. Her arms were extended, a good God. When it rains outside, I rain too. You have to understand, this is all I know. The body is not big before it dies. No, it's not. But Nana was still tall, still sequoia, still growing in spirit, and she remains large in my mind. She fills me up. She remains. This is all I've ever known about being a woman. If you are not careful, it can disembowel you. If you are not careful, you can pay too much attention to one form, and then you die without that sequoia making itself known, taking real root within you. You will die having never really known. Here is another unleashing. I never wanted the hunt, would not have created it myself, have not, to kill or be killed. I never wanted to keep one shape, one voice, one truth, death, yet another unleashing. I am forever woman, yes, a whole sequoia. I love you, Nana. Lena, still cannot give you up. Many faces, the matrix of the unborn. And just when you think you understand me, just when you think you see me in plain sight, just when you think I am standing where I am no longer standing, I will arrive home as your mother, pregnant yet again with the thought of you as a peaceful man. Okay, cool. Thank you. Here's another one, and then I'm going to switch and go to the new stuff, and I'll explain a little bit about what that is. Here we are. What to do when all your good fur starts receding. Mother and father are good things. Have you ever heard a beluga hum so lowly for their indistinguishable? My grandfather as elegance. My father crosses his legs, he sits. How lovely the men can be sometimes. Mother is well made. Mother appears sandalwood. Mother overthrows father. When I dream die, I do not want. Hidden in breast are precisely two very good secrets. In 29 years, they will mostly be revealed. Twin listens to floorboards twice daily. She talks to me about they talk to her. When the sun dies. America. What to do when your stockings lead to more sensuality than your worth, when all your legs go missing, when your thumbs turn celeste. Imagine you are dreaming of two largely bodies. The cellos are calling me back 3 lives over, father's bass, mother's diaphragm. I am going to pick up the phone slowly now. When I was 3, I could hear my father. I could let down hair, the good fur. Mother watched from a slit in the stairs. Mother was a chair. Mother was a slit in the stairs. And truthfully, dear God, I could not stop dancing until just now. Alrighty then. So yeah, that's Fox Swim and Get Out. It's a little taste of that. New project, completely different. All prose poems. Okay, so here's the thing about Fox Women. I'm just gonna do this. It plays around a lot with form. So very fragmentary. Some things are all in uppercase. I'm not yelling at you, it's just in uppercase. Some things are not. And so this time, the form is different for me. This time it's more about storytelling and things of that sort. And I'm trying to consolidate all of my thinking around this manuscript to explain to you what it is I'm trying to do. So if it doesn't make sense, great, because we're there right now. But there are these two concepts for me. There's America, and then there's mother. And I think mother is the antidote to America. This is how I feel. Mother shows up in Fox and Get Out in a way that's not just about my mother or my foremothers, but also about the mother in all of us. Audre Lorde has this really wonderful line in one of her essays where she says, the black mother within me, and she's talking about that intuition that we have, that kind of ability to make spells with language. And also to quote Bruce Lee, because why not? Spelling is a spell, yeah? So when we're saying anything, we're putting a spell on each other. So there's nothing like witchcraft about that. It's really if you deal with words, we are casting spells. So whatever you say matters. That means something. So yeah, I was thinking about the mother within all of us. And what mother stands for me, is this ability to care for something outside of yourself, which is a very un-American thing. It's the ability to care, to carry people, to carry their feelings, to nurture them. And so I see mother as medicine. I see mother as healing. And I see America as the opposite of that. It's patriarchal. It's about white supremacy. It's about capitalism. It's colonial. It's not a place that's really habitable for most of us. We're not meant to really live well in it. We can barely survive most of the time. So those are my two concepts. And I'm trying to figure out how I can teach people about mother so that we can all find the mother within us and change where we're at right now. Because things need to turn around. Yeah. So that's where we're at. Mother's the antidote. That's it. That's your only takeaway from today. I just walk around being mother's the antidote. And I'm you're in a cult now? Yeah, right? Mother's the antidote. That's what I'm saying. And you don't have to be I gave birth to a child to be a mother. All of us have it in us, The ability to care for people, the ability to really show up. And I'm grateful for my mom. She taught me so much about that. But the way that she holds people, if we could all do that, it'd be a very different world. Very, very different world. So I got this series called Monologue for a Black Indian, and this is part 3 of that series. And this is after Forest of the Dancing Spirits, which I assume no one's ever heard of before, but it's a documentary about a tribe in the Congo Basin. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's a really heartbreaking documentary, but it's really beautiful, and there was a mother in that documentary. And I remember watching it, and I just couldn't stop crying afterward, because some things happened, and it changed something in me that I had to then write about, to understand why was I so moved. So, I have seen the other tribes, how the babies lay their heads back on the man's lap as he chisels their growing teeth into far-spaced arrowheads. This means beauty, these points. I have seen the woman give birth twice to babies born face up. So then, day 1 dead, 3 until burial. Her drinking the too hot medicine. She wanted it to cool, but her husband said no, it must be drunk hot. The women in the village said she had an evil spirit in her. Her father said maybe he was causing these silent births. Maybe he was her evil spirit. If it was true, the man with his face painted red and black must tell the entire tribe it was the father's fault, that he was causing these small-bodied deaths. I understood love. I understood love as a father proclaiming his own darkness. I saw the mother without child refuse the burial. I saw her force the milk out of her heavy breasts with cloth for momentary relief. I saw her fall out on the jungle floor while wailing. The others said the leopard could smell her blood, that he'd kill her next time if she didn't stop. I saw how big her belly stayed, like a private planet, after birth. How the other women rubbed her belly down and hard to stop the bleeding as she groaned guttural from the now vacant dwelling of her second child. I could not turn my mother head away from such truths. I winced. I winced because no one tribe is truly different from another. And I was fearful for this other mother, that she should give birth once more to death, what that would do to her, what it would mean. I wanted to hold her without language, furnish the negative space between my inner elbows with all her weight. I saw her baby covered in leaves, leaves as big as the body so the dirt would not enter. I saw the man press sticks over the body to create an unyielding coffin, the pressure with which he pushed those sticks down unto flesh wrapped in waxy foliage, the earth holding what the body no longer could. It was hard not to see the tragedy here, the marred mother, the mother with her father's face. I was worried about the flattening of unformed skull, small nose, the admission that the breath was entirely gone. As the orange dirt was now thrown atop the mound, and the mother's eyes were covered by a man's hands as she started up that same guttural groan, I felt that the baby might awaken down there, feel the melancholia of this world firsthand, hear the dissonant song of his two-hearted mother, die once more. Thank you. This is part 4 of that same monologue. And this one's after Billie Holiday. I'm at the point in my life now where I just want the truth, you know? So really what that means for me is I'm pretty exclusively reading books where I'm thinking that people are telling me the truth. Yeah, and like just plainly. And for me, Billie Holiday is one of those people where whether she's singing or she's talking, she's telling you the truth. There's no two ways about it. Either it's this or it's that, but there's nothing in between. And I felt some kind of synergy with her, so I wanted to do my research to really understand this woman in her own words so that I could then understand why I love her so much beyond just what she offers us as a singer. And so this is for Billie Holiday, yeah. Side A. I knew the smell immediately, though it was hard to decipher when it would stop. Who would stop it? That which was such a long time coming. A warning signal, if you're paying attention. My skin was drenched and my breathing grew harried throughout the night. I slept twisted up, a half-hearted notion pretending at dreams. I knew, before I got the call, that Billie Holiday's old house had burnt down. Before the whirring trucks with lights the color of carnage swept past our Harlem windows. Somewhere close the falling of beams that once upheld beliefs of living, a structure that once sheltered us from undoing. Some people say it is impossible to blame any one group for the happenings of society. Some people say there is no one to blame at all, that we're all liable here. But a woman, a white satin woman, a gardenia woman, a lady of a woman, a straight-talking woman, a drawl of a woman, a them-their-eyes woman, a prescient woman, a protest woman, a black woman still suffered an arrested death. I listened to her songs closely for blood at the root. And the New York Times article is entitled, "Harlem House where Billie Holiday lived is damaged in fire." And the opening photo is resolute, as if to say char, that which is charred is still black. The article says the fire spread through all 5 floors shortly before 1 a.m. The article says no civilians were injured, though 4 firefighters sustained minor injuries. The article says the cause of the fire is under investigation. The article does not define civilian, what makes a people civil. The article does not complete the investigation. The article states how young Billie was when she passed. The article shows the disarray on the street, the scene. I wanted to know how it felt to let go of that last bit of herself, how a woman can become a whole architecture after death. Side B. I promise you that when a man 3 times your body weight, America, and at least a foot taller than you, America, jams the door shut behind the 2 of you, America, when he stands in front of the door while trying to speak favorable words you both know are rotten, America, you too will hear alarm bells ringing in your black head, America, a never-ending siren. Okay, cool. Maybe one more. I wasn't going to do more, so I was like, I don't know, but okay, so yeah. This is the thing, yeah. Part 5, same monologue. Yeah, but this one's like a little rough, but like it's like whatever, okay, we're all friends here, so great. Just acknowledging the truth, like I'm self-aware, cool. When my acting teacher tells me my voice is my gift, the subterranean depth of it, the lower registers most women cannot and do not want to hit, how I can make it tremble on cue, earthquake with sorrow. I knew I'd been lying to her all this time. I was simply following the rules. I was acting like the others. I was giving them the cakewalk they had subconsciously requested, hungered for, drooled over. I was exaggerating their technical formality for performative gain. That cake. When my teacher asks me what I am feeling at the beginning of every class, I can only find tired. Below it, exhaustion. Underneath that, a grave, because I never forget the hiding place of my ancestors. When she tells me on repeat that tired isn't an emotion, I tell her it's the only one I've ever known. I tell her this while indicating with my voice that if I had something more to give her, I most certainly would. There is a pause in my languaging now, a pause in my throat where I'm no longer locating or pushing. I'm older now. I've laid down my hourly performances. I sit huddled into myself most days, entirely dull. Fatigable, truly fatigable. It is not a performance. To be black and still, and within that, to not be presumed dead. My mouth is heavy with truth.